Well, hi, good morning. Thank you for coming and keeping me company in my shop while I try to finish off this radio today. I have acquired these LED light bulbs that I can use. I have a couple in there already, and the first thing we're going to do is test them and make sure they work. But first, a small story here. I was in my garage yesterday putting some beer bottles into a beer case, and one of them, empty beer bottles, and one of them fell out of my hand, bounced across the concrete floor in my garage, bounce, and then shattered. Oh, glass all over the place. So, oh well. Got my broom and little dustpan out and was sweeping it up, and while I was sweeping it up, I saw something unusual in the dustpan, and it was this. This is the missing grid cap that's missing from the end of this wire. It's out on the floor in my garage, where I would never have ever found it if I hadn't smashed a beer bottle on the floor first. That's kind of weird. So bad things. Out of bad things can come good things. So it looks like I must have stepped on it at some point because it's a little bit crushed up here. But so that's an important part of getting this done. Getting that to sit on there. I think I mentioned before that these are actually steel, so they have some springiness to them, and they can clip or clamp onto the top of the tube. But because they're steel, you cannot solder to them. So these things are connected to the wire just by, and a little hard. The camera's not really focusing here. A little hard to see this, but all they've done is just lay the wire up and then folded some of the steel over onto it and clamped it down. There's no solder involved in these. So these, from time to time, can become problematic too, just in themselves. These have all been soldered, it looks like. So, and that's what I'll have to try to do. I'll have to try to kind of tack this together. Maybe I can pinch this open here, get this open. I don't know. You know how steel works. You can only bend it so many times, and then it'll just break. This would be the same way. Copper is very different, Have you ever noticed if you try to take a piece of copper and bend it like this until it breaks, you'd be doing this for a long time. And what's happening there is the copper, where it bends, hardens. It's called work hardening. It gets harder, and then when you bend the wire up, it won't bend in this place anymore because it's harder. It'll bend just up here. And the bend just keeps traveling around to the softer parts of the wire, and that's why you have a heck of a time breaking it by bending. Well, this will take a little more effort than just shoving this in here. That's down the road anyway. A few minutes down the road. What we want to do right now, right off the bat, is, are these lights going to work? I already know they work. So I'm turning this on. I do not have the speaker plugged in, so all that's going to happen is the current will flow in the heaters and the lights, and there'll be no high voltage developed in the radio. That's not quite true. There'll be high voltage developed in the radio, but it's not going to go anywhere because the speaker field coil is missing. Okay, here we go. Do the lights work? Dun, da, da, da. Yes, they do. Let me put the full brightness on. Is this going to work to with the glass? The only way to find out is to put this thing back together and take a look. In the camera, you can't appreciate what these lights look like. With my eyeballs, I can look right at them. They're not as bright as they might look on the camera. So the key thing is to get the light to go into the edge of the glass and not down from the front or in from the back. You want to go right through the glass, and that has the surprising effect of making all the letters pop out as if they're individually lit. And this is a large light emitting surface here. Even though the diode is actually a little point inside, they've really got quite a bit of plastic here to kind of I forgot the word for it, but I'm sure you know what the word is. And with an ordinary light bulb, that's not the case at all. The filament is this little point inside it, and all the light is coming from the little point where the filament is. And you just have to line the point of light up with the edge of the glass. Like if this were glass, you'd be pushing this back and forth until the filament is lined right up. Then literally the photons will go straight into the glass, as opposed to missing it, I guess. Okay, enough talk about photons. Well, I have to put this back in the cabinet now, and once again, check it out, see what happens. Now, the last time I did it, the radio didn't operate. I discovered subsequently that I hadn't turned the antenna on, so there was no antenna signal, and that's probably what happened there. But okay, back into the cabinet you go. Oh no! I gotta deal with this. How many no's? No. I was like 5 no's there. Okay, let's just see what we can do here. Not that this is very exciting. Hoping to do is get the wire to clamp in there a little bit and then douse it with solder. The old wire is still in there. Well, there must be some solder in here too. Okay. That's good enough right like that. Here. Oh, the assistant has arrived. One of them. Just passing through, are you? Zoom. Why did he even bother? Okay, that's getting a bit of a grip now. Down with pretty loose in there. Okay, we'll throw some solder on it for what it's worth. Maybe if I sand it up a little bit. It's an awkward shape here. Okay. Sure what I soldered there. Okay, let's grip the wire. A little hot. That's done. Okay, back into the cabinet you go. Okay, we're just about ready to start here. Got an antenna connected. Power's plugged in. I'm just waiting for the laundry room light to go off because it generates so much interference. There it goes. Generates a lot of interference. Okay, so I'm going to make sure it's turned off, which it is. Okay, there we go. What does this look like? Yeah, not bad. So the light is not really casting properly through here, I don't think. But it is lighting the dial here and here. As you can see in the camera, it's a little... Here, let me turn this off. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. It's a little dark in the middle, a little overly bright on the edges. I suppose you could mask the light a little bit and fix that up. This is strange effects, eh? I just moving the camera around, having stupid fun here. Okay, turn on the light here. If I can find the switch, or the light switch. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, let's see what we can hear with this radio now. We're on the broadcast band. Come on, radio.
I think you just rather play the opponent with less playoff experience and that ultimately isn't deeper and doesn't have a bona fide first ballot Hall of Fame goaltender, right? And a bona fide first ballot Hall of Fame coach. Yeah, give me the softer matchup against a team like the Senators, even though they have dominated the Leafs over the course of the stretch run. Plus, I'm a believer in the idea that there is a psychological component for this group to finish first and to actually win something and accomplish.
I'm not talking once or twice. Many times after that. So you're right on what you accomplished. You are absolutely not right and possibly even deliberately misleading people in your justification for keeping them alive because you kept them alive a heck of a lot longer.
What's he talking about?
Warren, no delay on the East QEW. It is slow east of Aaron Mills to Dixie, on and off there. The bigger problems on the westbound side. Delays 4 Drive to Trafalgar and a crash delay from approaching third line to...
Ben oui, je pense qu'on a beaucoup d'apologie sur les prestataires de l'aide sociale. On a l'impression que c'est des gens qui veulent pas travailler, qui sont lâches, qui sont des fraudeurs. Mais en fait, c'est juste des personnes qui ont été malchanceuses pour plein de raisons. C'est des personnes qui ont eu des enjeux.
So got some funny business up here. Oops. Okay, let's try. We're going to try the shortwave band. This is the one that runs all the way from 6 megahertz up to 18. I guess we'll start at the top end here, and we might pick some stuff up. Let's see. What was that? Nothing at all. Not very reassuring. 9 megahertz band. So the sun is not working in our favor these days. I think it's put out a CME yesterday. Perhaps the conditions are poor. on there. Well, I'm surprised. Let's turn this down. Okay, so we're on the 15 megahertz band now. We should, you know, come on, man, pick something up. Well, that's something. Pretty weak. Another very weak. Well, not a very good showing here. What's the matter with you, light? And, great on the AM band, which is the primary thing, I think. And I've realized since I started doing this that I forgot a whole thing I was going to do, which was set it up for Bluetooth. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to stop here and ponder the situation a little bit and think about what I should do with this radio at this point. Okay, here it is back on my bench again. Oh, and here comes Wally, his brother, just whipped through there. There they go. Oh, they're both here. These are nice cats. These are really nice cats. My wife and I, we purposefully looked for orange cats because of the word on the street is orange cats have nice personalities, and that's been our experience. We've had other orange cats, and they've been very, very nice. And these two guys are really nice, even if he's gonna peek at you from behind the radio. Okay, so Bluetooth. I've got a Bluetooth receiver, and there's a phono jack on the back of this radio. But I noticed on the schematic, and I made use of it, this jack, the center conductor part, the signal part, carries the AVC voltage on it. So now, it seems weird to me. You'd plug your phonograph in there, and there's AVC voltage. I don't know what to say about that. Seems odd to me. Of course, you'd have to have the radio tuned to produce the AVC voltage. There's no button on the front. There's no button to push for, you know, phono now. It's not like that. It seems to be you just run the phono and probably tune between stations, or, you know, maybe go on shortwave where there's nothing to hear anyway. Something like that. Believe it or not, that would be the operating idea behind it. So you could conceivably have your record player playing and hear the radio at the same time. Sounds kind of weird to me, but, and maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there's more to it. You plug in the record player, and the cartridge internal resistance is such that it draws down the radio signal. I don't know. I would think you'd start cutting the radio signal into the record. What are you doing here, guys? Come on. Careful. Both of you. Okay, they're busy working behind me. So, in a way, their work is as meaningful as my work, you know, from the universe's point of view. So I shouldn't knock it. Okay, so what are we going to do about the DC? I think it's an easy thing. We're just going to stick I'm just going to stick a capacitor to block the DC from reaching the reaching this phono plug, and I think that's all I really have to do. Yeah, so there's two wires coming to it because it is. And I'm just going to nip those off and stick a capacitor between the two wires and the phono jack there. What size capacitor should we use? Probably I'm going to guess a 0.01 would do the job. I'll put a 0.05 in there, and that'll let any signal through, any frequency through, I'm sure. Okay, we'll stick it in, we'll try it out. It took a long time to stick that capacitor in there, and along the way I discovered my solder sucker is no more. A little spring clip here that's supposed to catch the spring is broken off. That's too bad. So I had to use the solder braid to get the solder out of there. Goodbye to that. Okay, I have a Bluetooth receiver. I have a cable that should take the stereo signal and turn it into a mono signal. If I blow this up, I don't really care, but I don't think I'm going to blow it up. So, I can only test this when it's back in the cabinet again, because that's where the speaker is. What about the shortwave reception? Well, again, I can't do anything with it out here without taking the speaker out, and I don't want to do that. Okay, back in to the cabinet, and we'll test this Bluetooth connection. Okay, hopefully I got the lighting okay in here. First thing we're going to do is start it up and make sure it still works as a radio. So here we go. I never fiddled with this light, which was going on and off before. Okay, so you can see I have the Bluetooth receiver here. It's not plugged in at all. It's just plugged into the power. And this red is connected to the phono input on the back of the radio. So when I plug this in, that'll be connected. But first we want to make sure the radio is operating. So volume down, broadcast. And button. Hello radio. Come in radio. Calling radio. Well, not a good deal here. Once again, we just seem to be going backwards. What could have happened? I can hear this. Very, very quietly. Uh-oh. Back. Uh-oh. Let me turn this down before we get a big surprise. What's the matter with you? Okay, first I'm going to pull out the phono. Plug. Nothing. Double check the antenna. Aha! Antenna. Bad cable. Okay. Bad antenna cable. I need a new cable. So I'm going to stop for a minute and arrange that. A little surprised that that's gone bad right in the middle of doing this. There we go. Okay, how much volume?
So yeah, this is a in play. Like that's why Miles Straw needs to be playing the center field. Know the bat. Not going to be impressive, even though you're going to want him hitting 11th in your order.
Okay, now we're going to try operating the Bluetooth. And I have nothing connected to the Bluetooth. So what are we going to do? First we'll leave this on a station. I'll turn this up. We'll plug in the Bluetooth and see what happens to the station. Hopefully this doesn't explode. Nothing. So the radio is continuing to play. Assumably there's a signal now, an audio signal from this. But I don't have anything attached to it. So next step is to get my phone and get a Bluetooth thing going there. So I will set that up. That experiment was false because I hadn't plugged the other end of this cable in to the phono. So here we go. This is the real test now. Wait. There we go. Cut the audio right out. Not quite.
Try to walk in contact its way.
Still there, but much lower. Okay, next step, I got to get the Bluetooth thing happening. So I have to be careful about what I play here because it could be copyrighted if I play music. So we'll figure something out here. There we are. That was a Bluetooth music playing through here. You can still hear the radio station in behind, but if I just tune it off, there's nothing. And then you just play the Bluetooth. And I can play another couple seconds here. What happened? That wasn't the best song to play, but I just picked one at random. So I'm going to listen to this on my own a little bit because again, I don't want to trigger a copyright on the video. Just make sure it's sounding good. I think, you know, this is headed to my barber shop. They have a big open wall with nothing on it. This guy's going to be sitting there. They could use this on Bluetooth, and if that's the case, if that's what they want to try for fun and whatnot, then I could pull out the first 3 tubes out of the radio and just have them not in the chassis, and that would reduce the load on the transformer. I've already reduced the load with these neon lights or LED lights, and I can go even further. I could pull all the tubes out, and it just becomes a box with some lights in it sitting there. So different options. Or she can try playing the radio, but I wouldn't recommend that because I don't believe it will work well. What you heard here when the radio is working is because the radio is hooked up to a good outdoor antenna of a sort. So I think we reached the end of the road here, and I think I'm done on this radio. I'm not going to worry about the shortwave. It's a good chance it didn't pick anything up because there's nothing to pick up. That's kind of the situation. It used to be I could always pick up Radio Marti with a couple of strong signals, but as far as I know, Radio Marti's off the air, and so is Voice of America. They're just gone. So. Okay, I think that's it. What do you say, Bert? Do you say that's it too? What's your comment on the situation? Bert, what's your comment on the situation? There it is. You heard it. There's the comment. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching this rather long series, and I'll be getting my hair cut shortly, which is great because I'm way overdue now. So, next video, I don't know what I'm going to have. Oh, I got to continue on the small radio that I started yesterday, so that'll be back in here to be finished up. Okay, Bert, say goodbye. Wave goodbye. Can you wave goodbye? No. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya.